A sheet of golden sunset slowly flooded the west window of the office. Silent impatience hung in the quiet room, just as it did every day near closing time. Louis Eisen typed the last digit into her computer, clicked Save File, let out a slow breath, stretched, and checked the time. 10 minutes left until work ended. Sister Zhu, her supervisor sitting diagonally ahead, stood up, held to forms, and walked over to Louis Eisen's desk with a bright smile. Xiaolu, Manager Zhu needs this report first thing tomorrow morning. Could you finish it? No one around looked over. Louis Eisen did not take them. Sister Zhu's smile faded a little. What? Is there a problem? Louis Eisen could not remember how many times this had happened. Every day right before she left work, Sister Zhu dumped her work on her. What was more, she had watched Manager Zhu assign these very two forms to Sister Zhu that afternoon. Unfortunately, Sister Zhu was her direct superior, having worked at the company for 10 years. Louis Eisen was a fresh college graduate, a rookie with less than 2 months on the job. Thinking of her nearly empty wallet, Louis Eisen forced a smile. Sister Zhu, I have plans tonight. Could you do it yourself? Her voice grew softer and softer, cowardly yet tinged with suppressed grievance. She lowered her head, letting others see only her thick bangs and black minus-rimmed glasses. At her words, Sister Zhu's face fell. Aware that some colleagues were sneakily glancing over in curiosity, she smiled faintly, her eyes turning cold. Well, what can I do? I have to pick up my kid. No one else can do it. Louis Eisen hung her head even lower, her face flushing. I have a blind date. It's scheduled for 6:30, so I have to leave right after work. Sister Zhu paused, surprised by the reason. Some colleagues overheard and asked with a laugh, Xiaolu, you're going on a blind date at your age? Oh, she's not too young. Smart girl. Strike early, wait till you're E20-5 or 20-6, and all the good men will be taken. What does he do? Is he handsome? Louis Eisen was usually quiet and plain, but now she sat up straight and replied quietly, I don't know. I haven't seen his photo. Under the circumstances, Sister Zhu could hardly force the work on her. She cared about her reputation. After a moment's thought, she pulled a chair and sat beside Louis Eisen, whispering with a smile, a blind date is wonderful. I support you. But I really have to get my kid. How about this, you take it home and finish it? Just hand it to Manager Zhu tomorrow morning. Louis Eisen clenched her fists tightly, then slowly relaxed them. Her small face stiffened, her voice quavering slightly as she spoke at a moderate volume. Sister Zhu, 20 days into this month. I haven't gotten off work before 8 o'clock on 15 nights. I just finished all the work you gave me this morning. I really just want to go on my blind date properly today. Sister Zhu froze. The colleagues fell silent. But none spoke up. Sister Zhu stood up, her smile rigid. Look at you talking like that. Like him making you work overtime. Overtime is usually a matter of personal ability and time management. Fine, he'll do it. It's not a big deal. Don't act like I've wronged you. Enjoy your blind date, and good luck. Louis Eisen's voice was still soft. Thank you, Sister Zhu. Quitting time arrived, and colleagues left one after another. As Louis Eisen stood up, she heard Sister Zhu on the phone. Honey, go pick up Ling Bao. I have to work overtime, yeah. Had some annoying stuff today. Louis Eisen turned and left. Stepping out of the company's glass door, she slowly exhaled the pent minus up frustration in her chest. After all, she could not afford to lose her job, lose her income. She had not known, back in school, what it felt like to be a nobody. The first group of colleagues had left, and the elevator lobby was empty. Louis Eisen waited for a moment. Then another person walked out of the office. A glance from the corner of her eye sent the frustration she had just suppressed surging back into her chest. In Louis Eisen's eyes, there were two terrible people at the company. One was Sister Zhu, her direct supervisor. The other was Manager Zhu, her supervisor. 30-6 years old, married, with a son. When Manager Zhu saw Louis Eisen standing alone. A smile flickered in his eyes behind his gold-rimmed glasses. He habitually sized up her figure, tall, slender legs, fair skin. Even in her plain black suit skirt, her curves were obvious. She had a small face and nice features, but she dressed plainly. An 8-10 look was reduced to 5 by her clothes. A young girl in need of taming. At the thought, a restlessness rose in Manager ZH's heart, but he approached calmly, putting on a gentle, refined air. "Off work?" he asked kindly. "Hello, Manager." Louis Eisen replied meekly. The elevator arrived, the doors opening to an empty car. Louis Eisen's heart sank. She stepped slightly aside, gesturing for him to go first. Manager Zhu did not move. "Ladies first." Louis Eisen stepped in, and he followed. She pressed the button for the first floor, he pressed the basement parking level. Louis Eisen stared at the elevator buttons. Manager Zhu shoves his hands into his pockets and asked, "What are you doing after work?" "Blind date," Louis Eisen said. Manager Zhu turned to look at her. "A blind date? Are you joking? You need to go on a blind date? In such a hurry to find a boyfriend, huh?" Louis Eisen felt that last huss send a chill down her spine. She lowered her head and answered, "Someone arranged it for me." "You won't meet anyone good on a blind date," Manager Zhu snapped. Louis Eisen fell silent. From Manager ZH's angle, he could see her slightly lowered nape, fair, slender, with a soft line and faint fine hairs. His heart tightened, and he whispered, "Don't go, okay?" His breath was warm against her face, and Louis Eisen stiffened all over, though Manager Zhu could not see it. Louis Eisen closed her eyes, clenching her fists at her sides for the second time that day. Then a number flashed in her mind, 20. It was the 20th. 10 more days, and she would get her monthly salary, a full 5,000 yuan. She relaxed her fists and quietly stepped aside. "I'm going. I might meet someone suitable." Manager Zhu said nothing. The elevator reached the first floor. In an instant, Manager Zhu reached for her arm, about to say, "I'll drive you," but Louis Eisen happened to turn sideways, dodging his hand perfectly and stepping out of the elevator. Manager Zhu froze as Louis Eisen walked several steps away. Seeing no one around, he shouted, "You're wasting your time, believe me. It won't work out." Louis Eisen did not look back. She could not bear to watch Manager ZH's one-man show of extramarital flirtation. She was afraid she might lose control and kick him hard. Only when she stepped out of the office building, breathing fresh air beneath the golden sunset, did Louis Eisen feel fully relaxed, no longer needing to hold back. As soon as she got on the subway, her neighbor aunt, who had arranged the blind date, called. "Shenzhen, are you on your way?" "On my way." "Xian Yuang is also on his way," the overly enthusiastic aunt said with a laugh. "Oh, Xiao Xian is so handsome and steady. You two'll definitely hit it off." Louis Eisen's tone turned playful. "How handsome?" "You'll recognize him at first sight in the restaurant." "I promise," the aunt said firmly. Louis Eisen was slightly surprised by her confidence. At the restaurant entrance, Louis Eisen paused and headed to the restroom first. She splashed water on her face, looked at her old-fashioned appearance in the mirror, took off her glasses, and her features instantly became clearer. She stared at herself, smiled self-deprecating lie, then put the glasses back on. The restaurant was already quite full. Louis Eisen scanned the room and her gaze landed on a single man. He sat at a quiet table by the window, a table for two. He wore black long-sleeved tee-shirt, camouflage pants, and short boots, exactly what the aunt had described. Hardly an everyday outfit. The lighting was soft and the atmosphere calm. His long legs were loosely crossed under the table, leaning back in his chair as he looked at his phone. He had very short hair, sharp features, untanned skin, a healthy shade from long hours in the sun. Louis Eisen guessed he was at least 1.8 meters tall, lean but strong, with visible muscle lines beneath his clothes. A tough guy. A clean, sharp tough guy. Not bulky or brutish. From Louis Eisen's experience, men like this were often harder, more restrained, and fiercer than those with bulging muscles. The aunt had not lied. Sitting there, he outshone every other man in the restaurant. How could a man like this be single, going on a blind date with her. It was ridiculous. She would talk to him first. With a perfect figure and good looks, she had nothing to lose. Sensing her gaze, the man looked up and met her eyes. Louis' eyes was stunned. Again his eyes were extremely dark and bright, as if light vanished within them. It was a feeling she could not describe. Few urban men had eyes like that. For a moment, Louis' did not know how to swing her arms as she walked. She lowered her head slightly, avoiding his gaze, walked to the table, pulled out a chair, and sat down. Hello. In Louis' he had been watching her every move. After a few seconds of silence, he said, "Hello." His voice was neither cold nor warm, deep and rich like a cello. Louis' almost smiled, but held back. Not knowing what to say, she made small talk. "How long have you been here again?" He paused before answering. "Not long." He seemed slow to respond. As if thinking before speaking, Louis' wondered if this was why he was still single. She showed no sign of distaste and asked gently, "Have you ordered yet?" The man looked at her, about to reply, when a server arrived with a steak set and placed it in front of him. Louis' sensed something was off, but did not think much of it. The server turned to her. "Miss, would you like to order?" "Seafood fried rice, please," Louis' said. As soon as she spoke, the man glanced at her again. His look was complicated surprise, understanding, coldness, restraint. Louis' was there something wrong with ordering seafood fried rice? They sat in silence for a while. Louis' tried to lighten the mood, asking softly, "What are your hobbies?" After a few more seconds, he realized she was talking to him. "I don't have any hobbies," he said, picking up a knife and fork and cutting his steak on his own. Louis' she thought she had found the truth. Good minus looking great figure, but not very bright. Worse at talking than she was. No wonder he was single. Louis' fell silent too, just watching him. Oh, uncomfortable staring at his face, she fixed her eyes on his hands. They were large, slender, sun-stand on the back, but unlike her office male colleagues, his knuckles were prominent and rough. His hands were incredibly steady, his movements sharp and delicate. Steak in his hands seemed as soft as tofu. Louis' zoned out for a moment. It all happened in an instant. Louis' heard a server exclaim. From the corner of her eye she saw someone rushing toward her from behind, holding something hot. In the blink of an eye, the man across from her looked up, dropped the steak knife, stood up, and stretched out his arm. All in a split second. Louis' felt a strong grip on her arm. Her body lifted, and she was pulled into his embrace. Louis' froze. Her nose hit his chest hard, and she felt the hard muscle beneath the fabric. A strong, unfamiliar arm held her waist firmly. She faintly smelled a clean scent of laundry detergent sunshine. She looked up and saw a sharp jawline on the protruding Adam's apple. At the same time, a crescendo splash sounded. A server had fallen beside the table, spilling most of a pot of hot soup all over Louis' empty chair. Pasta erupted around them. The fallen server turned pale, scrambled to his feet, and stared at the empty chair, then at the pair holding each other, speechless. No wonder he was stunned. He had not been looking. Hurried, and tripped. He had been terrified the scalding soup would burn the young woman from head to toe. Yet in a flash, her seat was empty. Her companion had pulled her away. He was immensely relieved. The consequences could have been disastrous. The server apologized profusely. The manager and other servers rushed over to apologize to Louis'. Xiang Yuang had already let go of Louis', returning to his silent self. Louis' felt as if she had dreamed. It was the first time in her life a man had protected her so forcefully. Seeing how guilty the server was, and the manager offering a free meal, Louis' waved it off, saying she was fine, then turned to the flustered server. She remembered he had fallen hard. "Are you okay?" As she spoke, she felt a gaze on her. When she looked up, the man had looked away. The server was nearly moved to tears. "I'm fine, thank you. You're so kind." The table and floor were cleaned quickly, and the servers returned to their posts. The incident passed, and they sat down again. Louis Izzy Hen's seafood fried rice arrived. She stirred it with a spoon, her face slightly pink. Thank you just now. He reacted so fast. Were you in the military or a police officer? Neither, he said, as if the incident that had shocked the entire restaurant had not affected him at all. He picked up his fork and ate again. But Louis Eisen looked at him differently now. She wondered if he was just strong but slow, or simply quiet and stoic. Her heart still racing, she tried desperately to find more to say. The man seemed to sense her effort. After a short pause, he put down his knife and fork, looked straight at her, and spoke voluntarily for the first time that night. What exactly are you trying to do? Louis' eyes and was stunned. Perhaps her expression was too innocent. He looked away after 2 seconds, but his impatience and coldness were obvious. I have no intention of dating. He spoke clearly and fluently, with a sharp expression, no sign of slowness at all. Louis' eyes took a moment to understand. It was like a calm sea suddenly hit by a huge wave before she could recover. She realized the surfer only wanted to push her into the depths. Louis' eyes was quiet for a while. So you don't like me? He was not slow, not bad at talking, he just did not want to talk to her. He had not liked her from the first sight. No, he said. Louis' Eisen was silent for a moment, then smiled. These days, as a new office worker, she had felt down. But she had been trying to adapt, to work and live hard. When she first saw him, she had genuinely felt surprised and happy, especially when he had protected her. She had been truly touched. Such small, thrilling moments were rare in ordinary life. But it had all been her misunderstanding. She was still as unlucky as ever. Louis Eisen put down her spoon. There was no point in eating. She took a sip of tea, not looking at him, staring at his collar. Xiang Yuang, if you hadn't pulled me away, that soup would have burned me. I think even on a blind date, you should show basic respect and courtesy. Like waiting for the other person to arrive before ordering, instead of eating alone. Ignoring questions, shutting them out. Even if you don't like me, we could have talked politely and finished the meal. But, thank you anyway. Goodbye. She stood up to leave, but the man's face darkened. His eyes deepened restrained. Miss Liu. Louis' eyes wore a flawless, proud smile. Is there something else, Mr. Xiang? I'm not Xiang Yuang, he said. Louis' Eisen's mind went blank for a second. He added, I'm not here for a blind date. I'm just here for dinner. Then Louis Eisen started to protest, then realized he had never claimed to be Xiang Yuang. She had never checked. But why had he not chased her away when she sat down and introduced herself? Hello. How long have you been here? Not long. He had only answered perfunctorily, then ignored her. Whenever she tried to start a conversation, he fell silent or shut her down with one sentence. If he was not Xiang Yuan, a strange girl approaching him shyly, nervously, like making a pass in public, he had endured it, not humiliating her, just keeping his distance, hoping she would leave. That was why he had finally lost patience and asked what she wanted. He said he had no intention of dating. This was not a failed blind date, it was him rejecting a stranger's advance. He must have dealt with this before, handling it skillfully. Louis' eyes and just knew it. She stood frozen, a blush creeping up her neck to her pale face. She was utterly embarrassed. She opened her mouth to apologize but could not speak. He seemed to notice, his tone softer than ever. It's okay. Louis' Eisen's tension broke. Her face burned bright red as she lowered her head. I'm so sorry, really. He said nothing, gazing behind her. Louis' Eisen turned around and saw a young man entering the restaurant. Tall and slim, fair-skinned, handsome and gentle. He wore almost the same outfit, but his black tee-shirt was short-sleeved, his camouflage pants brighter, not dark gray like this man's. He had white sneakers, not black short boots, making him look casual instead of tough, with a completely different aura. Louis' Eisen thought, how unlucky could I be to run into matching outfits like this? I won't bother you.